So we got NPR, another scam media portal. Why? NPR claims he predicted the economic meltdown. Okay? No, he did not. He did not. Take a look. Get your hand. You probably don't even need to buy it. You can probably find it free online by this time. Crash Proof, the original volume. Okay? And you read it. He was wrong about just about every single major theme. He was wrong. Okay? He was wrong. Did he talk about, I want you to read that book and you compare it to mine. Just read the chapters I have. How I discuss in detail what's going on with Fannie and Freddie and securitization and the whole real estate market and how that's going to impact the stock market. Just that chapter alone. Okay? He didn't predict shit. Anybody can get on TV and ramble. And this is why Peter predicted it. Why did his clients get steamrolled? His clients, well, I don't know for sure because I don't know all the performance, but there was a infamous release of a client statement after the financial crisis of a guy that lost more than if you had held the S&P 500. He was with Peter Schiff's firm. And apparently he wasn't the only one. There's a lot of people that apparently lost a lot of money. Now, Peter Schiff, during that time, had separately managed accounts. Okay? He changed to mutual funds. We'll get to that here shortly, why he changed. I'm the only person that knows why, and I've talked about it. Nobody fucking knows. Take a look at this one. This guy is such a panhandler, money worshiper, that he's actually posting affiliate links. I mean, think about this. This is a guy, media celebrity, making all this money, selling useless books that didn't predict shit, don't help anybody. But the media says he otherwise. You listen to the fraudulent media, what do you think you're going to get? He's not satisfied. He's pitching links, affiliate links. I mean, that tells you right there who you're dealing with, what a person will go to bring in the last penny. Kind of reminds me of Meet Kevin. In fact, did you guys see the picture of Meet Kevin and Peter Schiff posing together? Kevin's so happy to be posing with one of his mentors. There you go. Everyone's saying it. It must be true, right? Folks, Peter Schiff did not predict the financial crisis. Did not. Okay? Just like they're going to tell you Robert Kiyosaki. Okay? They're going to tell you all these guys. The media lies. They're full of shit. They're a bunch of liars. And I've documented this for years. Somebody show me any of these guys predict the financial crisis. Show me the evidence. Show me the proof. Another claim of hyperinflation here. Yeah, this is the October 24th, 2009. What happened to inflation? Well, after Peter Schiff talks about hyperinflation, inflation we actually get to, very strong disinflation, almost close to 0%. And where does it go from there? Right? Hyperinflation, huh, Peter? Uh-huh. I've got so many of these charts. Here's Alex and Peter. Now, in this, you can see, this is one of the videos where Alex Jones is introducing Peter Schiff as saying he manages billions of dollars. Now, you can look at the records. Peter Schiff was managing maybe 400 million at the time or something like that. Okay, you can look it all up because I certainly did. You can't do that. That's fraud. Peter can't say, oh, well, he said it. Folks, you understand, these guys, they give them a bio. They give them what to say, how to introduce them. Even if Alex did not read a bio, Peter is responsible. He's responsible for correcting Jones. Say, well, no, I manage this amount. Many times he said this. For this alone, he should be kicked out of the industry. But apparently he's got a privilege, a special privilege. Another one. This is funny. Peter's always trashing NFTs and Bitcoin. You all know he ended up selling an NFT. See, when Peter finds out he can make money on something, it doesn't matter. He'll flip-flop. So now let's take a look at Peter's funds. Update them. Let's update the funds here. What do we got? You saw just a few. Now let me just mention, Peter, of course, he's been one of these China bulls, right? China. It's great. It's amazing. In fact, Peter's gone on record saying that China has a more capitalist system than America. Folks, if you're listening to idiots, you deserve your fate. Peter Schiff was spruiking China as this amazing place, okay? Guess what happened? He had to close his China fund because it fucking terrible. He had to close his China fund. Now, speaking of, I'm not sure why this is not working, but let's see here. Now, Peter Schiff didn't always have mutual funds. He had separately managed accounts. You all know what that means, right? He had separately managed accounts. And I'm going to tell you something you've never heard before. I'm probably the only person that knows about this other than Peter. Not that others in the financial industry can figure it out, but they probably haven't thought about it. But Peter, about 2013, went from separately managed accounts to mutual funds. This is the big secret that nobody knows. You know why he did that? Anybody? Separately managed accounts basically means that you got a bunch of stockbrokers, financial advisors, whatever, who are separately managing the accounts. They have clients. Each person has a different portfolio or whatever, right? Versus a mutual fund whereby, everybody's in the same pool, okay? Here's what I believe, and I have evidence to back it up. I believe Peter Schiff went to from separately managed accounts to mutual funds to avoid a potential landslide in legal action, lawsuits, due to performance and suitability. Okay? That's what I believe. You see, what very few people know, and I can guarantee you nobody on fucking YouTube knows this, okay? Mutual funds, it's almost impossible to get sued. Okay? It's almost impossible to get sued if you're in a mutual fund. See that? It's actually pretty easy to get sued if you're in a separately managed account, especially if there's a suitability issue. Okay? So, and in reality as well, people can claim things, and if they claim, they can lie. And it's, but a mutual fund, it's almost impossible. I'm not going to get into the reasoning, but one main reason is the mutual fund industry still remains virtually unregulated. There's a lot of bullshit going on. That's what I believe happened. You see, because Peter Schiff, the last thing he would want to do after his performance got out from this client, right? Because that made big waves. Why would he now, his performance is being shown to the world, right? Well, it's to avoid lawsuits. I'm confident that's why. I'd like Peter to address that. Okay? I think that's why. And not just Peter. I'm talking his whole firm, by the way, not just Peter. Okay? Talking his whole firm. So here you go. This is the Peter Schiff's emerging markets. Okay? So this is since inception here, 2011. Okay? So where is it? What? 14 years later. 14 years later. Anybody want to tell me where it is 14 years later? Now, keep in mind, we're talking big time fees. Anybody remember what I said? Like a valuable lesson about emerging markets and why this pointed to why you don't want to be in some bullshit fund like VT. In fact, I told everybody, if you want to invest in the emerging markets, I said, buy S&P. And what country did I tell you to buy? Anybody remember that? I said India. Okay? Which I've been bullish on for quite a long time. Been a great play. You understand? You understand well why people would want to pay thousands of dollars to hear me, my advice, my recommendations, my analysis for 1 hour. You understand that why now? We're talking world class, folks. Funds pay me several thousands of dollars. Okay? This is simple shit. I'm giving this away for free. The reason why, since you all don't remember why, I'll go ahead and tell you. The reason why I said this is because emerging markets are very volatile. You understand what that means? There's times to be in the emerging markets, like when I recommended China in 2006, and times to be out, like when I recommended to sell before the collapse, right when the collapse was happening, and right when I recommended to get out a few years ago. You understand? They're volatile. There's times to be in and times to be out. You don't hold emerging markets, generally speaking, you don't hold them long term because they're volatile. You're not going to get capital appreciation, generally speaking. Okay? Anybody remember me saying that? Anybody remember me? Where else are you going to hear that? You're never going to fucking hear that anywhere else from anybody. That's my own. That's for me. Okay? You will have people copy me from now on. How do I know this? Because I've been around the fucking game for a long time. And I'm a world-class analyst. This alone is worth a fucking fortune, what I'm telling you. There's times to be in the emerging markets and times not to be in. If you want to remember that, just take a look at Peter Schiff's Emerging Markets Fund. Look at that. You've gotten zero. You've gotten zero for 14 years. Zero returns. But guess what? Peter's made money charging you, dinging you with high fees. You're going to be paying at minimum 1.5%. And by the time you look at, and by the way, I looked at the prospectus, okay? There's a lot of hidden fees. You all don't know this, but mutual funds, all funds hide fees. They don't disclose all the fees. You have to go through the prospectus. If you're looking at the expense ratio and think that's all you're paying, you're a lemon. You don't know what's going on, okay? In Peter Schiff's case, when he goes on these little speaking tours and jets around the world and the country and talks about stuff, I guarantee you he's writing that off as fund expenses for marketing. Guaranteed. I mean, Peter, come on, let's see. Prove me wrong. So take a look. Peter's made money. He's making 2% per year off the assets. You're making what? Nothing. Now, he's going to say, oh, well, you got to compare it to the appropriate MSCI index. Let's take a look what that would be, by the way, which is kind of bullshit. It's especially bullshit for Schiff's case, and I'll tell you why here in a second. So here's the wow. So the category, he gets destroyed. Wow. So you can see, even in the category, the benchmark, he got destroyed. We're going to compare this to the S&P 500, by the way, just to show you. You want to talk about devastation, take a look. Zip. Okay. Since inception, his funds returned 3%, not annually, total. S&P 320%. Okay? 320%. Now, Peter's going to say, oh, you can't do that. You have to compare it to the benchmark. No, you don't. You know why? Anyone know why? Here's why. Folks, Peter Schiff is running a brokerage firm. He's got licensed financial advisors. Peter Schiff's a financial advisor. You understand? When you're selling funds, you've got trailers. Okay? You know what trailers are? Annual fees that are going to the broker. Let's assume they're selling C shares, probably selling C shares. What value is the financial advisor providing? The financial advisor should be telling the customer, hey, you know what? We don't think the emerging markets are going to do so well over this period. Instead, you should shift to this fund. You understand my point? My point is that as a financial advisor, it's Schiff's responsibility to make sure people are in the right funds at the right time. Otherwise, why the fuck are they getting paid? Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Because I know what he's going to say. That's why the MSCI is a fucking scam. It's run by the whole Wall Street establishment to justify all these funds, and it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? You can make they have a benchmark for any kind of dog shit they have a benchmark for. Okay? And so what do? So why do I say it's a scam? Well, think about it for a second. You can have a complete shit fund. Okay? A complete shit fund. And there's a benchmark for it. Well, guess what? You can just model the benchmark. You can look at what the benchmark is, what they're holding, and you can model the benchmark, and you can get as close to it as possible. Oh, look, I'm right there with the benchmark. If the benchmark is sucking ass, who wants it? How is it relevant? The only benchmark we need is the S&P and the Dow.